Hello, everybody. I am here. Here are my hands. I am just going to start with putting this down to the table surface. I have been, well, I was working on kits this morning, and then the weather was so fabulous outside that I was working outside, and so my hair is just up and up on my head and a messy bun, and I've got all the things going on. So I just thought I would film this video and just jump right into the table surface instead of talking on the video. So, but I am here, as you can see, my hands moving on the screen. So for those of you that are new, let me just start here by saying I am Christina Taylor. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from North Canton, Ohio. And I am happy that you are joining me today for a card making video. So the projects that I'm going to share with you today were projects that were featured in my Greetings of Gratitude class that was last week and in person. And then we traveled out of town. We were in Georgia for 4 days, the family wedding. And so I had to kind of put things on hold to be able to film the video and make kits to go and things. And so we're back. And like I said, the weather was really good. So we were doing some yard work before it cools down a little bit. It's so nice. It's like in the 70s, and we're enjoying that. Um, so yeah, so I am going to go ahead and get started and just share a few things with you. So this is a peek of the projects that we're doing today in class. And I'm just going to move them aside. Okay. So that's a peek of what we're doing. Um, these are two current catalogs. If you don't have a copy and you'd like one, please just let me know. I'd be happy to get you one. And there is, let's see, as far as promotions going on, there's the current kit promotion. So all of our all-inclusive card kits are on sale, and you can find those on my online store at stampingyoucrazy.stampinup.net, and you can just put in the search bar at the top, put kits, and the kits collection will come up. And they are anywhere from 10 to 30% off. You can see everything that's available right there on my website. And you can either order directly on my website or you can message me, and I'm happy to place the order for you. My current host code is BEM2WAHQ. And when you enter this code through, let's see, like this is the end of October, so this will go the end of October, November. So you would get October's card kit to go. When you enter this kit, when you're placing, or when you enter this code and you're placing an online order, that tells me that you would like the free card kits that I offer each month. So how I do my card kits is that for any order that you place, you get a one card kit. If your order is $35 or more before shipping and tax, you get two card kits. And if your order is over $50, or more without not including shipping and tax, you get a three card kit packet. And I will send these to you if you're local. You can swing by and pick them up in the little house, whichever works better for you. And they're just a creative kit for you to enjoy, and you watch a video to kind of put them together. Oftentimes there's always an extra project, a bonus one in there that you can just use, watch for creative inspiration. And it's just an extra thank you from me to you for your business and for using the online code that I have set up in my store. And if you're watching this video, it's probably on Facebook. If you are just watching it through a link, you can find me on Facebook at Christina Taylor, Stamp Me Crazy. And you can like and subscribe to my channel so you can get all the latest videos and things that I have to offer. And I think that's really about it. On the last thing, oh, there is one more thing. Yeah, So Stampin' Up! Is having a starter kit promotion. And during the month of October, you can get an additional $30 in your starter kit of product. Typically, you get $125 worth of free product for $99, which is the starter kit price. Just $99 plus tax, no shipping. So the shipping is actually a nice savings too. That's like $11, an additional $11 there savings. But this month you get an additional $30 in free products. So it's $155 for the $99. And you also get a free paper pumpkin kit, which is an additional like $25 bonus in there. And you get your current catalogs and any business supplies you might need too. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to talk to me about it. Have the ladies that are on my team, a lot of them use they're a discount shopper, so they use that discount. They use their demonstratorship to get a discount on their products. So you initially get a 20% discount, and then after you've reached like so much in sales, then you get a 25% discount on all your products. So anyway, if you'd like more information about it, feel free to ask me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with our first project. Okay, so we are going to make this beautiful card. Again, the cards are all greetings of gratitude. So the theme of this class was obviously gratitude. So you'll see all the sentiments that I'm using today have greetings of gratitude. And I will share with you what we're using on this card. Let's put that over to the side. So we're going to use some white crafting. We're also going to use early espresso, pecan pie, crumb cake, and pretty peacock. And supplies here. I've got some early espresso seam binding ribbon. We are using, I've already die cut the Regal Flora dies. I've die cut this little piece, which is the single blossom, and I've die cut this label, which gives you a larger label and then the outline label. I've used this before on class, and I'll show you a little bit closer what that does, but I've gone ahead and die cut those out for the class. And then we're using the Regal Floral stamp set. On this one, I'm just using all the images, well, the floral images that are in here for this project, which as I'm looking at it now, I'm like, oh, I don't know why I didn't use those little dots on there because that would give it some more texture. But I didn't design it that way, and that's not the way we did it at class, so I'm not going to use that little speckle. But in hindsight, that would have been a good one to use. I really like the sentiments in this stamp set, and you can find this stamp set and the dies in the September through December holiday catalog, along with the Winter Floral Designer Series paper, which I've used before, and it is stunning. And then I've also chosen the Hope You Know stamp set. This is in our annual catalog. And I've chosen the Just Saying Thank You Doesn't Seem Like Enough. Hope you know how much your kindness is appreciated. I really love that greeting of gratitude out of this set. It also has some really wonderful other sayings in it that are perfect for other occasions too. And then I do have my stamp on my Stamparatus. We don't sell the Stamparatus anymore, but I know many of you have it. So it's a tool it's a great tool to use. And so I just continue to use it for stamping purposes. I do set this up this way in class so that it's easier for the ladies. I just have the floral pieces all die cut out and they just have to insert them in there. And it's just a lot easier and saves on some die cutting time for them. So on our project, this is what we've got. So we've got our envelope and then our supplies. We have got a pretty peacock piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5. You've got a piece of Very Vanilla that is 3.5 by 5. A piece that is 4 by 5.25. I had a piece of early espresso that I die cut out. So we've got the label piece. And then I had die cut some additional labels out of the vanilla to get the frame piece. So we're going to frame that on this project. And then I've die cut two of the flower blossoms out that we're going to stamp to create for our card. And then you have two pieces of the early espresso seam binding ribbon. So this first one is roughly like 6¼ inches. And then this one is about 3½ I'd say. It actually, you know what, that's a bit of a lie there. I'm gonna say it's like 4½ because this is 4 inches and that goes on. So I'm gonna say it's 4½. So that's all the pieces for our card. So we'll start by folding our card base and flatten that fold with our bone folder. And we'll go ahead and get started stamping. So let's do our little blossoms first with the Stamparatus, then we can move that out of the way. So this morning I was thinking about filming this video this morning, and I'm glad I didn't start it because we lost power and everything went out, internet went out and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I decided to work outside. And then I came in and thought, well, no, I'll do the video, and then power's out. So if I would have been in the middle of filming that, that would have been kind of frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, so figured I'd start and do it tonight. So I put my little die cut piece in there, and I'm just going to ink this with my ink pad. Little blossom there. Going to press that down. Normally I have my little glider tool there, but this is a smaller blossom, so it's not really necessary. I don't have to apply a lot of pressure. And then I'm just going to go ahead and insert my other one and do the same thing. When I'm making a lot of projects where I've got die cutting like this, I just find it's easier just to keep running these things, the die cut through the cut and emboss machine, and just die cut a bunch out, and then make myself a template and stamp them like this. It's so easy, and it just simplifies the process. So I'm going to take my chamois, clean off my stamp on there, and then this is done. So we're going to set this aside. And I'm going to bring a piece of blue paper in so we've got a stamping surface. I'm going to grab my early espresso label and stamp my greeting, and we're going to let that sit aside a little bit to dry. So the white ink is a craft ink, which is kind of like a sticky ink. It's great for embossing, but the white craft ink is great because it shows up on our dark cardstock. So I'm just going to stamp that down. And that's all we're doing with that piece. And I will like set this aside to dry. So I'm going to set it up over here so it's kind of out of my way. And just clean this stamp off on my chamois. Let's bring this in here. So the white crafting is kind of getting everywhere. So what I'm going to do is after I've cleaned that off, I'm going to flip it over. You can see where I used it before when I was stamping. And we'll just set that aside. Okay. So I've got blossoms there. But this and this. Okay, so we need to do some stamping on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up all my ink pads and get the stamps. I'm going to lay them on what color I want to stamp them on. And also in the order that I'm going to stamp them. So there. Okay, so how I like to do my stamping when I am essentially creating my own designer series paper. This is how I like to do it. So you might find it helpful for yourself, but this is my technique. So what I like to do is start with the largest image. So for this project, the Triple Blossoms is my largest image. And I'm going to go ahead and you notice I'm stamping around the ink pad. So I use this at class, and everyone's tendency is to go right in the center. So the ink tends to be lighter in the center. Even though I've re-inked it, I like to just go around the outer edge and pull up some different, darker ink. So I'm just going to stamp this around. Okay. So that is my first layer. You know what? While I've got this, I'm going to go ahead and stamp where I want to stamp it on my inside layer too, and my envelope. So we'll just do everything all at once. I've got that for my inside card, and I want to stamp some blossoms on my envelope. Okay, so that's done. Set that aside, come back with this one. Okay, next what I'm going to do is go with the pecan pie, and we're gonna go with this image, stamping that down. And there's really no like right or wrong way. I'm just kind of filling in where I want the color. So thinking kind of like you're creating your own little masterpiece here. At least that's the way I look at it. I'm gonna go there. Okay, so I've got that one. And I'm gonna come in, I'll come back to do this one. I'm gonna stay on task with this. So I'm gonna go with my crumb cake. And I think I'm gonna go right there. Right. Then I'm gonna come in with the little early espresso and put some little dark flowers. Sorry, I got distracted here. Um, I keep hearing a sound and it sounds like maybe one of the light bulbs is like ready to go. I can hear it like kind of clanging. So I was distracted. It's like I saw a squirrel. Okay. I don't know between that and my chair squeaking. I don't know which is worse. Okay, so we've got that filled in. I'm gonna put this on the side. And in the inside, I want to put this truly deeply grateful on the inside of this card. I'm going to stamp that going right down here on the bottom. Okay. And then I want to come in with this piece and then a little bit of this piece up there to kind of bring that inside, outside of our card inside. Okay, I've got all my stamps done, so I'm gonna close these ink pads up. I'm bound to set something in them for sure. But let me get these stamps cleaned off. So they are good to be stacked over here and I don't set them on something as well. So I'm gonna move this aside and we've got all of our pieces, so we're ready to start a layering. Okay, so before I put my top layer on, you're gonna notice you've got two pieces of ribbon in your kit. So when I'm doing a tie around, so some ladies have trouble tying the ribbon, by pulling it around the card and tying it and they don't like the knot. I like to take my ribbon and make like a faux knot to where I'm taking the longer piece and wrapping it around the front, and I'm just going to take some Scotch tape and tape that on the back. So let me get a couple pieces of that and just kind of figure out where I want to put it. And I'll fasten one down. Okay. I've got that in place. And I'll just Even that out, bring it around the back side on the other side and put another piece of tape down. And that just kind of holds that in place, makes it look as though it's wrapped around. And then I'm going to take my smaller piece and tuck that right under the piece I just ran over there, over, fastened it around each side. And then I'm going to take and just tie a simple tie, not a knot, just a simple tie. And once I position my label there, I'll get that in place. But the great thing about doing it this way is you can slide this down either side. So if you want it on one end or the other, you want it in the center, you have the capability of doing that. Okay, let me find the adhesive. And since I've already put the knot on there, I'm just going to go ahead and put my adhesive on the front of the card. That way I can just kind of fasten that down. Okay, fasten that into place. Some of the ladies at class had trouble with their tape runners, their Stampin' Seal. And, if that ever happens to you, please reach out and let me know so I can contact Stampin' Up regarding it. There is a 90-day guarantee on your supplies. So if you get this and it snaps or it pulls out, which does happen, you can let me know and I can contact Stampin' Up so we can get that replaced for you. But if you get it and say you don't use it for 6 months, it's very difficult to get it replaced because it's sat for a while and they're like, they don't know what conditions it's sat under and da da da, all the things. So please do use your products. That really goes for anything, any of your products, stamp sets, punches, dies, use them because there is a 90-day, window in which if something's wrong with it, Stampin' Up! Wants to make it right. So. Okay, so I definitely want my ribbon over to this side. So I've just kind of tightened that a little bit more and I'm going to trim the ends at an angle here. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my greeting label down. Set that right about there. Okay, so just find your placement where you want to put that. I need to put a little bit more adhesive right there. So then I'm going to put this frame on, and it's a delicate detailed frame. And how I find it's best to do is I just take my Tombow liquid glue and I'm just going to create a little line of adhesive just right around my die cut label with my sentiment on it. I find for me it works best this way. Now, I know, see, you can see in the camera, it looks like this wasn't stamped, like you couldn't see it, but you can see that it's fully stamped there, the sentiment and everything. But down here in this lighting, it looks almost like it's half of it's not there. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So for me, I like to just draw a fine line around where I want to put this frame instead of trying to put glue on the adhesive on the framework of it and then set it down. I just put the glue down and set the frame down. That's what works best for me. It goes right in place. It kind of fits like a puzzle and done. And I don't have glue all over my hands. So, do what works best for you. But I find that is a technique that works best for me. And I'm going to put a little adhesive on this flower, tucking that into place. And this one I'm going to put on with some dimensionals. And really, it's just a small flower, so I really only need the one, I suppose. Just gonna set that right here, kind of overlap it a bit. Okay. And there's our first project. So we've got, it's like we've created our own designer series paper. We've used some white crafting to kind of get that greeting, that sentiment to come alive on the early espresso, and then carried that design over on the inside. All right, let me pause this for just a moment and I'll get the next project. Okay, so our next project, and you know what? I don't know if I grabbed the supplies for it. That'd probably be nice so I could show you what we're doing. Let's see. Let me grab these, and I don't think I grabbed the rest of them. Okay, I'm back. Didn't have everything that I needed. Okay, so we're going to make these two adorable little projects here, and they are on our note card size. So still mailable, still a size to mail, no worries there. They're just a little bit smaller than our traditional size card. So they both have a watercolor base, and these are already done. These are bases that I did get off the clearance rack. So love me a clearance rack special. I totally encourage you to check them out when we have them. So you could easily create this card, recreate it by creating a watercolor background. But if you have the cards and they're already like that, you're, one step down. So, in the class, each participant made one in the Blackberry Bliss and one in the Mint Macaron. And so in today's video, I'm going to show you the Mint Macaron one, but this is just the layout for the Blackberry Bliss. So in this one, we used a Blackberry Bliss little sprig back here, a very vanilla, and then we used the Fresh Freesia for the flower stems with some blackberry ink, and then of course the sentiment is stamped in Blackberry Bliss too. So just very simple, fun design. So that's our Blackberry one, and then we've got the Mint Macaron one. And let me show you what we're using really for both of these projects. So I'm using the Painted Lavender stamp set, and I've selected this cluster of like wildflowers and the little butterfly here. And that's in the main catalog. And then also this is the Painted Lavender dies, which is, I grabbed this stem out, this one, and then these dual flower stems too. So those were the items that I've already die cut using those dies that go along with the Painted Lavender stamp set. The next stamps that I used is Courage and Faith, and I've selected the greetings out in everything give thanks, and may the Lord bless and keep you. So I've used those two on the cards, and then I used one of the little swag, the floral swags out of this stamp set. This can be found in the annual catalog as well. And then the label that we put the sentiment on, I just chose the Wildflower Designs dies. There's a stamp set that goes along with it. Actually, there's a whole suite of products in the annual catalog, but I just chose this smaller die right here, and that's where the label came out to stamp our sentiment on. Any of these things that I'm sharing with you, when you're going to my online store, all you have to do is like the names that I'm sharing with you. If you just type that into the search bar, it'll bring up what you're searching for, and you can see like a little bit more, see the gradings a little closer. You can get the item number and the price, and it'll tell you a little bit more about that. So just always know that. So I'm just folding that cardstock in half. That folding card is already scored there. So we've got that. The supplies really for this card is just a note card set. And then you've just needed extra pieces for all your die cutting. So there's not really any measurements per se on this one. So we've got our card base. And then for this one, I've gone ahead and die cut the sprig. And we're going to use some Misty Moonlight flowers. So I'm going to grab those two out of here. So we've got those. And then we're just going to use a little very vanilla little sprig there too. So these are all for just another card, which we do not need right now. And we're going to go ahead and start stamping. Let me bring in my foam mat because I want to stamp the photopolymer stamps. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp a couple butterflies right up at the top and the bottom. Set that aside. And then also going to stamp a couple on my envelope. and come back in with my little flowers, my little wildflowers. Stamp those on the envelope too. So we've got a little bit of decorative piece there, and then I'm going to stamp them along the back flap. I'm going to start by putting in the center and then just work each side. Now, I know this mint macaron is a retired color, but I chose that because that's what the watercolor cards were done in. So I selected that in the Blackberry Bliss. If you were doing a watercolor background, you could use whatever color ink oh, I need this for the grading. Whatever other color ink you'd like if you were creating your own watercolor background and did not have the note cards, but you'll have those in your kit. And then let's see, I need this one. In everything, give thanks. So I'm going to ink that up. Oh, where's my die cut? I know I just had it here. The die cut. Oh, what did I do with that? Um, hmm. I know I had a label here, but did I like set something on it? You probably, if you're watching, you're like, Christina, it's literally right there, but I do not see it. Okay, I just went and grabbed another one. I don't know what I did with it. I'm sure it'll turn up here just as soon as I stamp this one. Okay, so I'm going to remove the piercing mat because this is a red rubber stamp, so I don't need that extra cushion there. Clean this on. And then I'll go ahead and clean these too because that looked like there was still a little bit of ink on them. All right, and then we're going to come back in with our card and go ahead and assemble our card. And where's my adhesive? Look at this. Okay, so I'm going to put my label like right in this area. So I just want to put some adhesive down and I'm going to build my blossoms and kind of lay them in place. That adhesive is going to be covered by the label. So I'll just start from the back one and work my way forward. When I say forward, like build up the layers. So I'm going to do the little blue stems. And I'm okay with them kind of like having a little bit of lift there. I don't necessarily want them all the way down, like stuck down. So that's okay with me. If you don't like that, then you do you. You just go ahead and fasten those little guys down. It's okay. But I kind of like that dimension that it creates. So I'm going to take my dimensionals and I'm going to put 4 on this to balance this out. And just set that. Plus this little guy it kind of helps them stay in place too. And there we go. Just a simple note card with these, but the dies on here is just, I just love the simplicity of this layout. Um, but it's very clean, classy design, in my opinion anyway. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think. So we've got that one, and then you've got the Blackberry Bliss. So same layout, just different colors, but you can create 2 similar but very different looking cards. So, okay, let me clean up these supplies and I'll come back with another project. Okay. All right, this is the next project that we're going to do. I love how this project turned out. I love the texture on it, all these little die cut elements, and just what a beautiful thank you card. I mean, just something to kind of really express your gratitude towards someone. Then we've got these nice little fun little embellishments to finish it off. So let me share with you what we're using on this one. We should grab the embellishments. Okay, so we've got Lost Lagoon ink, Pretty Peacock ink. And then we're using one simple bundle. So this is the Changing Leaves bundle. It was out of stock and it is back in stock, and everybody has anxiously been awaiting it because it's just beautiful. It's a stamp set, but with a hybrid embossing folder and dies. So you've got in the stamp set, you've got these three images of leaves, and they all have very different textures on them. And then you've got various different sentiments here, which I'll just hold steady so you can kind of read them in the camera. So it's some nice sentiments, different fonts. Then you've got a variety of dies here. So the big one that works with the embossing folder, and then all these little detailed ones. So we've used on this card, I've used this circle, this leaf, this leaf, this leaf, and this leaf. So 5 of the dies in here. And then you've got the embossing folder, which embosses the beautiful texture that you see in your kit. You'll have this already embossed for you. And then this lays in, lays in right here. So it's kind of like locked into place. And you can put your cardstock down there and it'll emboss them and die cut them at the same time. You just run it through the machine. So super cool product. This has been, like I said, very popular. It's back in stock after being out of stock for so long. So put that back down in there. So I've gone ahead and done the embossing and the die cutting for you and for our examples here, our project. Okay, so also we're using some little sparkly gems, and I've got the little Lost Lagoon ones here. So I'm going to set those aside and we'll grab those in just a minute. And then let me share with you our supplies. So we've got our envelope. You've got a piece of Lost Lagoon that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. A piece of Pretty Peacock that is 4 by 5 1/4. A piece of basic white that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then, like it said, I've gone ahead and done the die cutting. So I die cut the stitch circle out of basic beige. The single leaf was cut out of basic beige as well. Then I've got the little sprig and the 3-leaf die cut. Those are both cut out of Pretty Peacock. And then this was the double leaf, which was actually like this, die cuts like this, but for some reason it got separated when I die cut it. So I didn't put this in a packet. I just kept this for myself, but you'll have it and it'll look like this piece. And that's cut out of Lost Lagoon. So I can easily make that work on this project. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and embossed those using the embossing folder. Okay. And then to do the card front, what I did was just insert my card to the score line and put it in the embossing folder, close that, and just ran it through the embossing machine with this section out, so it did not get embossed. And then that embosses the front flap of your card. So we'll take and fold that at the score line. Bone folder. Actually, I'm going to flip it over to flatten it just because that embossing is on the front. So I'll just flatten the back side. And then the first step we want to do is after we have folded at the score line, you want to take the corner and you're just going to fold it back. There's not a right or a wrong way to do this. There's not a stopping or starting point. You can go right to the corner. You can go out a little bit. I'm about 1/4 inch out. It's, like I said, no right or wrong way. So you just want to fold that flap down and then crease that, flatten it with your bone folder. Okay. And let's grab my adhesive. And then we're just going to take the adhesive, put a little bit on the tip of the corner there and push that down so that it's folded open. Okay, so you still have a little bit of dimension right here. It's like, see, there's like a little pocket, a little bit of a lift there, but it's held down in the center, and that's what we want. Okay, then we're going to take this piece and we're going to make it so that it creates like the full card front with this folded down so you don't lose this space. So you're not seeing like the white behind it. Because if we didn't have this there, you'd see that white and it's kind of like really stark for the front of the card. And I wanted to convey like a real soft, cool tone to the card. That was what the look that I was going for anyway. So because you are placing this in like a layer so that you're still seeing a little bit of the Lost Lagoon around it, you've got a framework there. Let's see, I'm going to figure out how I want to put this. So what I suggest that you do is you take and open your card. So you're going to lay this. So you've got just a little bit of a layer around the perimeter. You're seeing a little frame of that Lost Lagoon. I'm going to come in with my liquid glue. You can do whatever adhesive you want to do, but I find it works best for me with the liquid adhesive on embossing areas. And I'm just going to go around my card front piece, like the front panel. I'm not going all the way to the edge because keep in mind, you're going to have a little bit of a gap here. So I'm just putting some adhesive right in this area. So I kind of scribbled it all. It's not as much adhesive as it looks like, but it does look like I've got a lot there. It's just little thin lines. So I've got my adhesive all in there. Then holding this in place, I'm just going to go ahead and shut my card, pressing that down. And then it's already taken and adhered to the panel. So that creates the panel of my card. Okay, so I find that's the easiest way for me to do it. If you want to do it another way, totally up to you, but that works best for me as far as fastening it on. So I just want to, we'll set that aside and we're going to do a little stamping here. This work, a lot of the beauty is in the embossing and the die cutting. And let me get my found mat. What did I do with it? There it is. What I tell you, I'm just like forgetting everything or losing stuff here. So we've got our Lost Lagoon and our pretty peacock. And we're going to go ahead and stamp our Lost Lagoon with the leaf. I'm going to do that in the front of the card. And we're going to do that on the inside. Okay, so just really simple there. And then for our sentiment, we're going to do that in the pretty peacock and just a thank you, a simple thank you right on there. And we're done with the stamping. So we've just got to assemble and layer all of our die cutting. So I'm going to bring this back in. All right, so let's go ahead and put our layered piece on the inside. I may be running out of adhesive on this guy. So just that down. Now we want to build our stems. So I'm going to take and put my circle about right here. This is about where I want it. So what I'm going to do is put some adhesive kind of behind this area. Again, this is how I'm going to work to build my layers. If you want to do it differently, if you want to fasten them down individually with liquid glue, you can absolutely do that. So I'm just going to take and start to build where I want to put my little stems. I'll start with that one. Again, you'll have like a double leaf there. And then this one. And we'll come in with the basic beige. And then I've got this little guy, this stem. And then I'm going to put that right like that. That'll be perfect. Now, I didn't put any dimensionals on this because with the layering and the folding, oh yeah, look, my adhesive's done. So I got to get another one. Yeah, that's done. See if we've got enough there. No, let me grab another one. Okay. With all the layering and the folding and then the die cutting and stuff, I did not want to add dimensionals because I didn't want to pop it up anymore. So I'm just pushing that down, kind of covering where I layered all my little stems in. And then I'm going to come in with my gems here. Let me grab. So got my take your pick tool. Well, let me back up. This is a take your pick tool. It is not mine though. If you have a take your pick tool and you've come to class, please check yours because this is somebody else's. Mine, let me show you here. I've got two things. So this is the one that was left in class and it's got the dual stylus tip in it. Okay. And I already have mine here. So when I went to put mine back, I realized this is not my tool, it's somebody else's. So please check yours if you have this tool and you've come to class because you most likely have two spatula and paper piercing tip sides, and this is your tool, and you possibly have mine. So please check that for you because I'm sure you're missing your scoring tip side. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and use the putty on the end of this one to get my embellishments off. And I'm going to put 3 of those on here. And down there. Okay. And there we go. We've got our card. Let me show you with the envelope. So simple, fun card. I just love the look of this with all the textures and the die cutting. So I hope you enjoy it too. Okay, I've got one more project for you. Let me clear this one up and I'll be right back. Okay. All right, this is our last project for today's class. So I hope you're hanging in there with me and that you're enjoying the creative journey that we're on. So this is our next project. We've used some die cutting to create texture on here. If you can see that in the camera, I don't know if they can, there we go. Kind of see it, that texture there. If not, you'll see it in your kits because that's been done for you. So we've got some of our metallic papers here. Now you could have, so I've done gold in the example. You could have copper or you could have a gold vellum as well because I ran out of the gold. So I had to improvise, but whatever you have, you will have one with the label and the outline for the veins of the leaf. There'll be a matching set. So whichever one you have, you'll have enough to complete the card to get that same like unified look. And then we've got the inside and we've got some of that stitching on the inside too, which has been done for you. So I'm going to set this aside and share with you what we're using. So we've got some champagne rhinestones that we're using. We're using the Autumn Leaves stamp set. So this is in the annual catalog and it's got some beautiful imagery for fall. And these are actually really quite pretty for like a winter card that uses like tree branches. That's what they remind me of and I've used before. And then some great sentiments in here with a beautiful font. I'm talking about autumn and gratefulness and being thankful. So this is a beautiful set and it's done in photopolymer and it has a distinctive image. So you get this natural shading in there, like you watercolored it, but only the stamp does the work. And then we've got this great die cut set. So you've got a couple different labels in here. There's some of the larger dies cut out, the images in the stamp set. I've already got the big maple leaf here. At least I think that's a maple leaf. And then here's the textured leaf, the piece of the die that I did for, oh, wait a minute. Yep. Oh, it was like, for a minute I thought I wasn't recording. I was like, oh no, I don't think I recorded it. So that texture die is also part of this die set. And there's another texture die in here too. And then you've got these little detailed leaves, which we used, I think, on a class for our autumn class. I think we used these leaves on that. So there's 2 of each, which is great because you can cut out multiple ones quicker. And then we, of course, have got our outline leaf vein that I've already die cut for you too. So all that's been done. Everything came from the autumn leaves set. And then we're also using the 2023-25 in color jute trim. And you get, so in that you get a spool of each of the in colors. And I particularly like, so for me, I find this twine to be a little thick to work with. When tying, it's thicker than I want to work with. I'm sure it works well for other people, and that is great. But for me, I like to separate it because when you untwist the fibers, so you twist it just kind of counterclockwise. Let me just grab this with my fingernail. So as you twist it, you get these little fibers, and you can get 3 fibers out of each piece. And you end up with this kind of fiber. And for me, it's just much more delicate and softer to work with. I just prefer tying a little bow with this as opposed to the thicker. So that's why it's been done like that in your kit. You'll find that you have a small piece like this, and it's actually already been tied in a bow for you, and I'll show you how we did that. So put that in there, but this is a great value. I think this is only like $8, and you get 5 yards of each. It doesn't say on here, but I want to say it's 5 yards of each color. It's a great value. Okay. All right, so we have got, I think it was, and we're using copper, clay, ink, and cardstock. So we've got our envelope. We've got a piece of copper clay that is 4¼ by 11. It's scored at 5½. And we've got, let's see, a piece of vanilla, the Vera Vanilla that is 3½ by 5. And I just realized I didn't die cut the top of that, so I'm gonna have to do that real quick. So 3½ by 5. And then we've got a piece that's 3½ by 4 and 5¼ and this is for our front piece. And I've already gone ahead and embossed the lines on both of these, so you can see the texture there for you. I've got an extra piece for to stamp our leaf and die cut that out. I'd say that's like a 3x3 piece of white cardstock, or not white, very vanilla. And then we've got a little piece of vanilla that's 3/4 of an inch by 2. That's for our sentiment. And then for this one that I grabbed this kit, so it has been die cut in the metallic copper. So you'll see that. So you've got the label and the leaf vein both in the copper. And then we've got a piece of copper clay of our jute twine that I've separated, and we've got a much thinner piece to work with. It's more delicate. So let me run this through the embossing machine so that the top is done, because I thought I did that and I hadn't. So I'm going to pause this for just a moment. Okay, I went ahead and did that. I had thought that I had pre-done that, but obviously I did not. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take our cardstock and fold that in half. Okay. And we're going to do a little stamping here. So let me get my foam mat. Where is that? There it is. Come back in with that and we'll do a little stamping. So I've got a class coming up the 3rd week in November. I think it's I want to say it's the 20th. Maybe it's the 18th. It's the 3rd Wednesday. For the life of me, I can't remember right off the top of my head. Anyway, that'll be the last class for this year, until next year. So that'll be an in-person class, and of course I'll have kits to go. And then I'm looking for like in November, no, I don't know, November, December, maybe like to do a promotion of personal one of mine where like I'm thinking like of offering like a free class like with order, something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to toss around a few ideas to give you something to do maybe the first part of December on like, we're gonna have one of those cold, snowy days where you just want to like stay in your jammies, maybe have a cup of hot tea. Or if you're doing some baking, you do a little stamping at the same time. I don't know. I've got this all in my head right now, but it's a little hard to like kind of make it come to fruition since it's like 75 degrees outside right now still. So anyway, I digress. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and stamp our leaf on our inside layer. And then I'm gonna ink this around and stamp up our leaf for the front of our card. And so, yeah, just watch your email. If you're on my email list, you'll get that with whatever promotion I'm going to do. Something different. Just thought I'd try something different this year, but we'll still have that in-person class in November. Okay, and then I've got my little I'm thankful greeting. I'm going to ink that up, stamp it. Okay. All right, I think I've got, that's all the stamping. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the ink pad before I set my card in it. Okay. So we've got all of our pieces. We've got our stamp image of our leaf stamped there. And so I would put this die cut on it, run that through the cut and emboss machine, and through the magic of TV, it has been done. So we've got our leaf ready to go. We're going to bring our card in here and layer this up. So I'm going to start with this piece, and there's my adhesive. There we go. Right, so we're going to layer this front. So notice it's a little slimmer top and bottom margin, but you've got a nice wide band of color. So I thought that was just kind of a different way to lay it out and give you a different look than our traditional card. It's how as we normally do, like a little 4 by 5 1/4. And then we're going to go ahead and put this inside layer down with that embossed cut edge at the top. It's like kind of stitching. Put that in there. Okay. And then we'll put our leaf on. And we've got the leaf is just flush to the surface of the card, no dimensionals or anything on it. And I'm just going to set that down. And we'll mount our reading piece on top of our metallic die cut label. Now this I'm going to put on with some dimensionals. So I'll flip that over, get a couple of those on the back so that's ready to go when we're ready for it. So the next thing I want to do is I want to get that little vein on there, that metallic vein piece that we've done. So a couple things here. So I'm going to use adhesive, but at class, I had the ladies have this Elmer's Craft Bond. And I just had a station set up and they could spray it to spray the back of this vein and then set it down. Just as opposed to like not getting glue all over your fingers because it is a delicate thing to work with. Now, I could have used the adhesive sheets, but to be quite honest, I was cutting this out of 12 by 12 sheets of cardstock and I didn't have enough adhesive sheets to just cover it all with adhesive just to die cut and get this little vein out. So what I'm going to suggest is that you just put some of your liquid glue and let me grab silicone mat. So if you have one of these, the silicone mat, these are great for working with detailed pieces. So let me grab a sponge here too. I'll show you this other way if I've got it handy. Gonna be rummaging through all my stuff. So this is a little glue sponge. And what I like to do on my silicone mat is just put a little dab of the Tombow glue. And I'm going to take my sponge and get it on there. And then I'm going to make this sticky just by putting my adhesive on the sponge, running it on my silicone mat. And then I'm going to set this down. This makes it super easy to get that little guy stuck to your card. See, it's good to go. And the silicone mat, once that dries, you can just kind of rub that all off. It's like a sticky and it kind of balls up. You just throw it away. And this glue sponge you can use over and over again. So honestly, I could have used this at class. Um, and but truthfully, I didn't even think of it. I just thought, oh, I'll just use the spray adhesive and make a little station for it. But this is a great way. So if you have a silicone mat, go grab it, get your liquid adhesive, make a little puddle there and a sponge, and you can easily put this on with no problems because I don't have any glue stuck on my fingers after this process. So just trying to simplify the process for you. Okay, so I'm going to take my Stampin' Dimensionals off and put my sentiment on there. Quite honestly, after I just did that, I was like, why didn't I do that at class? Now I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Christina, like really, why didn't you do that at class? I totally didn't think about it. I just like, oh, I spray adhesive. Now I'm talking out loud, and y'all ladies are like, what is she doing? Anyway, okay, let me come back with the take your pick tool and get some gems off of here. So I need to put a couple on. And we'll put one up here. Okay, so we've got three. I always find it's best to work in threes. If you got a kit to go, your gems are going to be on a little sticky note stuck to like the clear acrylic, piece of the sheet where the gems are. They're going to be stuck to a sticky note along with the gems for the other cards so that they don't get lost in your kit. Just so you know, look for those. Okay, I'm going to come in with my bow maker. Now, for those of you that have ordered a bow maker, I haven't forgot about you. Roger he's been busy with a couple projects that people have hired him for. He's been building a table and a bench. And so the bow makers are on his to-do list. So if you've ordered one, just know that he'll be working on it. So I've got my two nails set up in there, and I've got two holes in between, so it's a little wider. I'm going to take my fiber and put it around the backside of both of the nails, cross them, okay? And I'm going to take that right side under and then bring it over and tie it. There we go. And give that a snug tie. Take out my nails and I'm going to trim the little ends on this. Sometimes these get frayed, as you're working with them. So I just want to clean them up a little bit. We'll put that on. So yeah, this is a bow maker. You can make all different sizes of bows because there's various different holes there. You can make double bows. And I need to I started to do a video the one day and my internet went all wonky. So I've got to do a video. If you have a bow maker, um, hang in there with me. I'll try to get that video done. I really do need to, so it's helpful too because I started it and then well, things got wonky and then here we are and it's not done yet. So I need to do that. So let me get a glue dot. But it's super easy if you struggle with tying bows. The bow maker just makes it very handy. Okay, so I'm gonna get this. These are some glue dots from a paper pumpkin kit, and I'm gonna put that right at the base of the stem. I need to actually push it with my finger to get it up there. And then put the knot of my bow right there. And we've got that little guy just tucked in there. Back up there. And there is our fourth card. Okay, or our fourth design. We've actually create 5 different cards in your kit as far as like colors and things like that, but total of 8, 2 of each. So, okay, let me move these things out of the way and come back with our projects all together here. Okay, so we've got this one and we've got that one. There's this one, and then this is our double card project. Okay, we've got all this mess over here. We'll just move that out of the way. Okay. All right, so these are all of our projects that we did in this class. So your kit would contain the supplies for you to make the projects, 2 of each of these, and then 1 of each of these. And again, they're greetings of gratitude. So, you know, select your gratitude greetings and stamp away to just express that gratitude to somebody that's really shown you some kindness. That's always a good thing to do, especially this time of year. We're going into November, so it's a very grateful time of year, although we should be grateful all year long. And I'm really glad that you joined me for today's class. I hope that you found this class inspiring. It's given you some creative ideas and inspired you to get some of your stamps and ink and paper out and create so that you can make your own paper sunshine and send it along to brighten somebody's day. So again, if you are wanting to order anything that you've seen here in today's class, this is my online store address. This is my current hostess code. And please feel free to share. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. So please share with your friends if they're looking for some creative inspiration to go to Christina Taylor at Stamp Me Crazy and to subscribe. And I look forward to sharing with them too, just as I do with you. So thanks so much. And until next time, happy stamping.